I'm Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I'm a member of Congress representing South Florida, and I have 3 beautiful children, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. As a young woman, I knew there was a 1 in 8 chance of getting breast cancer in my lifetime, but like most women, I never thought it would be me. In the fall of 2007, I was doing what was an occasional self-exam for me in the shower, and I found a lump. The pathology report came back, and I got a call from my physician, and he really said the words that no woman wants to hear. You have breast cancer. And, you know, I don't care how strong a woman you are, and I'm pretty strong. That's incredibly scary. It's like an anvil is dropped on you. All I could think about was surviving so I could be there for my children's birthdays, for my anniversaries with my husband. And you wonder right away when you get that diagnosis, how many of those really significant milestones are you going to be there for? We took it one step at a time, and I knew that it was something that I was going to fight, you know, all the way to survival. There is a much greater likelihood of Ashkenazi Jews, particularly Jewish women, to carry the breast cancer gene, either the BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene. And so, unfortunately, it turned out that I was BRCA2 positive. So, at that point, my course of treatment was dramatically different than the original plan for such an early stage cancer as I had. And so, instead of initially needing to have a lumpectomy and radiation, instead, I made a decision that I would have a double mastectomy and reconstructive surgery, and eventually have my ovaries removed later that year, because there's also an increased risk of ovarian cancer when you have the BRCA2 gene mutation. So after going through 7 surgeries, I knew through experience that I had not had before. Even though I was a breast cancer advocate as a state legislator and as a member of Congress, what I learned just in being a breast cancer patient was that I knew a lot, but there was a lot that I didn't know, and how important education and awareness was. I wanted to get through the whole year and then use my profile in Congress, use my platform that I have to help make sure that I could use my experience to help other women. I introduced legislation after I was cancer-free called the Breast Health Education and Awareness Requires Learning Young Act, or the EARLY Act, because we wanted to make sure that we raised awareness and educated young women about the importance of early detection, because early detection is really the key to survival. We were able to pass the EARLY Act with the help of so many wonderful organizations, and it passed as part of the Affordable Care Act, as part of Obamacare. What I realized on the day I was diagnosed, the day I got that phone call from my doctor, was that I went on one day from being carefree, a young mom, the picture of health, to the next day, after finding the lump and getting that phone call, being not just a breast cancer survivor, but someone who for the rest of my life would live as an individual with a pre-existing condition. I realized that I was then one job loss away from being uninsured and uninsurable. And there are 129 million Americans in this country, 45% of Americans, that have a pre-existing condition, and that are moms just like me who need to be able to get the care that they need. I've spoken to too many of those women who told me stories about how they had to choose between either their chemotherapy or their radiation because they couldn't afford both. The Affordable Care Act lifted that burden from my shoulders and from the shoulders of millions of women who have survived breast cancer. And really, you know, you always know, no matter how confident you are that you've beaten it, and how much confidence your doctor gives you that, you know, you've taken all the steps that you need to take to survive. You know, every day you always have that little tickle in the back of your head. And I think every survivor will understand what I'm saying. I think about this every day. No matter how confident I am that I've beaten it, you always worry. And thanks to the Affordable Care Act, An insurance company can't drop me or deny me coverage for a pre-existing condition. They can't charge me more just because I'm a woman. They can't make me choose between one course of treatment or another. And that's the burden that was lifted from the 129 million people that live in this country with a pre-existing condition. We can't go backward. It's a tough experience going through breast cancer, going through any kind of cancer. 7 surgeries through a whole year. You got to sort of find the silver lining. And so these are my silver linings. I survived breast cancer, but I went through the year and got a little more than God gave me, which wasn't so bad. You gotta look for the silver linings. I just want to thank all my sister survivors for reaching out, for being there for me, for lifting me up, and I have made a commitment to dedicate my professional and life's work to helping lift up my sister survivors.